5 now getting underway. Zerg versus Zerg. Machine, after playing a long, grueling 28 real minute battle on Antigua Shipyard, having to dive straight into a Zerg versus Zerg here on Metalopolis.
28 real minutes. StarCraft time is the real time, Kurta. It was 38 minutes.
All right, 38 minutes.
All right, so we are on MLG Metalopolis, as we mentioned, and we're going to have EG Machine, who just won that last game on MLG Antigua, to make the series 2-2, spawning as the pretty and pink Zerg player in the western position, and close by air, subbing in for vVv Titan, is going to be vVv's Dasuki, a player who's pretty new to Wednesday Night StarCraft, and he's going to have a strong test here against a veteran of the StarCraft and StarCraft 2 scene in Titan. He is spawning as the blue-teal in the southern position, and right away these overlords meet in the night, they wink at each other, and they're going to know exactly where their opponent has spawned.
Yeah, this is always one of those situations where in a Zerg versus Zerg, what I like about it is it's a true mirror match. You take a look at the production tab, they are pretty much neck and neck doing the same exact things, and then you take a look at the mini-map, and their overlords are in the same spot, the hatcheries are, you know, and you can see that the overlords are even moving together, almost trying to get proper positioning as well, and this is all going to be very, very interesting to see when a spawning pool does go down. Now, will we see a hatch first? Will we see a spawning pool first? It's really going to be a knee-jerk reaction to see when that spawning pool is placed down. It looks like Machine does have a slight advantage right now over Dasuki.
Yeah, I mean, like I predicted, probably going to be hatch first from both players just because of the positioning. So Machine sending his first drone down there, and Dasuki doing the same thing. So basically both players going to get that hatch first. Not a huge deal because they mirror their builds at this point. And ZVZ is a pretty interesting matchup just because of how overlords work. You know, in the other matchups for Zergs, you have to position the overlords carefully but also safely. In ZVZ, you can place them almost anywhere outside of the opponent's main, is one exception, but you can place them all over the field, and there are just so many units that don't attack air for Zerg that it really provides a lot of great map control and almost full vision of your opponent almost anytime you want.
Yeah, and right now we see Dasuki is the first one to start his spawning pool. Right now, Machine not too far behind. And pretty much, as you said, overlords can be anywhere on the map as long as there isn't creep. The anti-air, the queens, you know, you don't want to, you know, park it outside the main base or the natural because the queen can get to it. But anywhere else is pretty much free, you know, able and possible. You would say, well, why don't I lay down a creep tumor and try to move over into that position? Well, creep is a double-edged sword in Zerg versus Zerg, especially when you're trying to retreat and then it turns out that your opponent's Zerglings are actually running faster to your base as well.
I've actually seen in ZVZ a lot more often where queens will chase down those overlords and really try to keep them off the front door. You know, supply blocks your opponent, it forces out another one larva, 100 minerals. It can cost you an inject if you don't time it correctly and if the opponent reacts quickly, but more and more we're seeing that just so that you don't have a perfect idea of when your opponent moves out and what they're doing at their front door.
Right now we see Dasuki, the first one to set up a spine crawler. He is down by one drone, a final deviation there. Dasuki also getting some Zerglings as well. We'll see what's going to happen as we are now going into a Baneling's nest for Machine. So Banelings may be the hero in this battle. One Baneling able to take down... I think an even trade would be 3 Zerglings, but we've seen Banelings take down as many as perhaps 7 to 8 Zerglings in a matchup.
Yeah, and it looks like both players adding a spine crawler. Machine's going to be a little bit later, and that spine crawler for Dasuki definitely going to help against any sort of baneling pressure by Machine, but I'm not sure Machine's actually going to be going for pressure as he's still droning up behind this. Might be using the baneling nest sort of for defensive banelings. He has added a few lings now, but I imagine he'd be adding a lot more if he was going for some sort of baneling pressure.
Yeah, we'll see what Dasuki's going to do. Dasuki now running back with those Zerglings. Zerglings are just scouring across the map. We'll see what's going to happen here as who is going to get the metabolic boost first. It looks like Machine is slightly ahead. Dasuki's Zerglings are going to have a very, very bad day. There it goes. Now the Zergling is forced to run away, and there it goes.
Yeah, and like I said, just defensive banelings for Machine at this point. He's got great positioning on them as well. One at the top of his ramp and one close to the mineral line of his natural, in a spot where banelings can sort of try to sneak in, catch you unaware, take down 4 or 5 drones, and really tilt it in the aggressor's favor. So really like that play from him. We do have a baneling nest coming out for Dasuki, a ton of drones for both players. So right now they're macroing up, playing very defensive, and I'll be interested to see how soon they go lair, whether they go roach or whether they go muta.
Right now we have what a pretty even 39 to 40 drones as the Zerglings are trying to still battle it out. Zerglings getting in position, Overlords of Machine in position as well. Surprisingly, Dasuki does not park his Overlord next to Machines in order to gain sight on exactly what's happening outside his base. I think that would be a smart choice at this stage, as we are now going into a third hatchery by Machine and a very, very triple expansion, or a 3 base, and this is something I rarely see in Zerg, especially at the 8-minute mark.
And there's the banelings for Dasuki coming in, and they do get those 4 drones. They came in right where I mentioned that baneling was positioned, but Machine was not able to get a baneling hit off on the Dasuki baneling, so he was able to take down a few of those drones. 6 workers killed so far for Dasuki. He is in the lead 44 to 41, a very important distinction, though Machine has taken that 3rd base, so he is going to be working off of 3 hatcheries, now getting the evolution chamber and the roach warren, so he will be going for roaches. The lair about to finish for Dasuki. I have a feeling he will be going for mutas, as he does have 4 gas working off those 2 bases.
Zerglings now making their way over to the 3rd base of Dasuki as well. Zerglings are going to be forced to pull back. And where are they going to go? Current size army, Dasuki with a much larger Zergling count, 24 to 10, but there are many more banelings, and those banelings could find their target, taking down a good number, and the Machine losing a lot of Zerglings. He's going to be forced to morph in a lot, as we now see where these Zerglings are going to go. Going to clean up even more Zerglings here. No, Machine being forced to or just playing a game of chicken and chase, as the Zerglings are going to engage. These 2 Zerglings are not going to battle it out well, as we now see one Baneling running away from a Zergling, and a nice trade there by Dasuki.
Yeah, Dasuki doing a nice job sending those sort of test Zerglings up that ramp to check whether there's any banelings. The Machine definitely had them positioned there, trying to defend, and now he's going to come in and save his 3rd, I believe. One baneling, a big shot, but now with Dasuki coming in with his own banelings, we've got the Ling baneling wars going back and forth here. Machine lacks banelings at the moment, morphing another few in, but I'm sure Dasuki is going to try to get this 3rd. He might be able to, trying to focus it down, but Machine going to be able to clean that up. So no damage done there, no considerable damage done there for Dasuki. Machine now in the macro lead 75 to 70.
Right now, also 56 drones now compared to 49. So even though the macro lead 75 to 80, wow, 75 to 80 now. Dasuki quickly retaking that crown, as we are already getting into Mutalisk for Dasuki. Meanwhile, Machine has just started his Spire, and the Mutalisk are going to get up some easy targets.
Yeah, and both players going for that Spire. Dasuki, a big baneling hit going off there. Dasuki's going to finish about twice as fast as Machine's. Machine's only halfway done. 10 mutas on the field. This is going to be very difficult for Machine to try to clean up. Machine does have these banelings at the 3rd of Dasuki positioning here, but here come the mutas. They're going to try to focus down those banelings. Not too much damage done by the banelings, but we'll see whether Machine's able to take down this 3rd. He's got a nice surround. The mutas and the lings doing their best to clean up, and both players looking pretty similar here with the 3rd that is hurting, but Dasuki was able to clean that up 94 to 68, and he's got a lot of mutas out at this point. 13 about to be on the field. A ton of spore crawlers coming out from Machine, so he's going to try to defend against these mutas while he gets out his own mutas.
Yeah, that's a really important distinction. Sacrificing the 6 drones for 6 spore crawlers, and that is not a trade that most Zerg players like to make. The Queen battling it out, quickly getting taken down, and the Mutalisk could hug the edge here, just deal damage to the Extractor, and let the Glaive Worms actually deal the rest of the remaining damage, perhaps trying to hope to hit on top of those spore crawlers. So far, it looks like 1 Extractor will go down, 2 Extractors go down, and that's going to hurt the overall Mutalisk number of Machine.
Yeah, taking down Extractors is huge in this muta versus muta war, especially Machine doesn't have his 3rd base saturated on gas yet, so he's going to be running right now just off 2 gas until he saturates that and gets his remaining gas up, whereas Dasuki running off 6 gas, so his muta count is just going to be insane compared to Machine, as we have Dasuki trying to apply some Zergling pressure as well, again doing a nice job of splitting his lings, though losing a ton there. And now we have Dasuki applying pressure with just a ton of mutas. They're going to be able to easily take down the muta count of Machine. And we've got Spore Crawlers coming in here helping as well, but I have a feeling that this third will go down for Machine. Might actually be GG, in fact, as just a ton of Lings coming out from Machine, but they're not going to be able to defend against the air attack of Suki.
Yeah, right now, Machine are going to end up losing that hatchery there, and now it is going to be 3 bases to 2 as the Mutalisk, the sheer number of them, 17, and now Dasuki morphing in a lot of Banelings here with Zerglings as protection. The Zerglings of Machine looking to perhaps try to push open on that front door. They may be able to do a run by. That's going to be a bit dangerous. Overlords now getting picked out of the skies as well. We'll see where these Zerglings go. They're going straight into the mineral lines. There is a Mutalisk there as well. Spine Crawler going to get taken out, and what's happening? Baneling's going to run inside the mineral line, perhaps trying to take down some drones, dealing some damage, and now even the Spore Crawler was taken down, so a nice trade there, as if this does turn into a base race, who has more buildings?
Yeah, I think that Dasuki is definitely going to be able to clean up back at home. It's 118 to 51. He's able to take down the majority of the drones of Machine. It's 24 to 50, and yeah, I think that Dasuki definitely has this one in the bag.
Yeah, Dasuki with 21 Mutalisks right now, taking down Mutalisks very, very easily. More Mutalisks are back at home, but we'll see what's going to happen. And there's the GG. Dasuki winning the pivotal Game 5. vVv 1 game away from winning Wednesday night StarCraft.
Yeah, 3-2, and it's been back and forth, only Murder taking 2 games in a row there, so Machine, after an impressive game against Murder to sort of stop his streak, goes up in against vVv's Dasuki here, sort of a late addition to the team, a sub in fact, since Titan was not able to make it, and goes down in ZVZ. Always a volatile matchup. I know a lot of players aren't very comfortable with their mirror matchup, especially one like this where just one decision or one momentary lapse in judgment or you know, basically a coin flip sometimes can cost you the game.